Hi, welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. I'm your host, Brian Koval. Before we get started, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. If you want to see me play your favorite deck or your spicy brew on the channel, I take donation deck lists. I'll do a deck tech, play a full Magic Online League, and help tune your list. If that sounds good, check out my contact info. It's in the video description below. Now let's go play some Magic. Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. We have a celebrity guest donation deck today. This is from Pokemoki, who is one of the perennial trophy leaders in Legacy Leagues. If you look over here, that's him right at the top of the trophy leaderboard. He's been second or third, like top three for most of the last year, and that's because he's been abusing Uro Titan of Nature's Wrath in a rug shell. You may have heard of the deck PokePile. If not, he was the one who pushed all of those busted 2019 and early 2020 cards to the max. Just put Dreadheart Arcanist, Uro, and Oko into a shell and made it sing. So he has a strong pedigree of doing Uro stuff in Legacy. So this deck, Rug, there's no reason to be Rug anymore with this pile of cards. Dreadheart Arcanist is gone. So what offers the best support color to Uro? And it seems like Bug is taking the lead on that. The removal is so good. Abrupt Decay is just such a good generic answer in the format. The sideboard cards like Plague Engineer are just phenomenal. So Bug Uro, I've played against it a few times on the channel before, a few different builds of it. I tried a 4-color build myself, but the Bug is much more streamlined. Life from the Loam, awesome technology with Uro. Like, it helps you hit your land drops to cast the Uro. The Dredge also fuels the Uro, and it lets you put Wasteland in your control deck. And you can actually make that a plan going along. So I'm a big fan of the overall shell here. There's 2 small changes I want to make before I play this league, though. One of them is that the main deck does not contain Basic Swamp. And one of the things I try to stick to when I'm building these mid-range kind of decks is that I want to be able to cast my spells under a Blood Moon or Back to Basics, or work around a Wasteland. And if you'll notice, the only way in the main deck to remove a Blood Moon is Abrupt Decay, and there's no way to cast Abrupt Decay if there's a Blood Moon in play. So a bit of a cart before the horse situation there. If you have black mana available when the Blood Moon hits the stack, you can just float it and decay, but I like to keep my options open. So Pokemoki does have the Basic Swamp over here in the sideboard, but that doesn't make a lot of sense to me, and here's why. So I usually put a basic land in the sideboard if there is a splash color that's important in Wasteland matchups. So what I mean by that is, like, in a Miracles deck, a blue-white Miracles deck, if I'm splashing for Red Blast, I might put a basic mountain in the sideboard for matchups like Delver, where I need my red mana and they're going to have Wasteland. But this deck, it's not even a splash color, and you're definitely going to want your black against Wasteland decks like Fatal Push, Abrupt Decay, Plague Engineer, Leovold. Like, basically all of these black cards are great against Wasteland decks, so I really want to be able to get set up against them. So I'm going to move this Basic Swamp to the main deck, and just looking at what there is to cut, I think Growth Spiral is the wonkiest card here. I'm sure it has a strong reason. It's basically the front half of Uro, number 5 and 6, but we have 4 Uros already. I'm going to cut 1 Growth Spiral to make room for this swamp that's +1 land overall, which I don't think is a problem in a Life from the Loam, Ravenscrime, Uro kind of deck. So that's what I want to do with that. And out of the sideboard, now there's a slot open. I want a second Assassin's Trophy. Just being able to answer generic nonsense that ails you, and specifically Graveyard Hate. Like, the deck is pretty good at removing Rest in Peace with all these Abrupt Decays in it, but Leyline of the Void is something that is also going to shut us down pretty hard. We don't have a very good pivot off of this Uro Life from the Loam strategy. Like, it's up to Jace and Leovold to win the game by themselves at that point. And we can either juke in the sideboard and just do something that doesn't care about the graveyard, or we can max out on answers to graveyard stuff. And I like that approach better for this situation. So those are my changes. Pokemoki is a strong deck builder, strong brewer in general, so I'm not going to mess with these numbers. I'm sure he's put some thought into the 1 Spell Pierce, the 2 Stifle. So Stifle, this is not really to nuke opponent's lands, but it could come up. It's mostly to put Uro into play on turn 3. Like if you cast the front half of Uro, stack your triggers so the draw a card, put a land into play, it resolves first, then you can Stifle the sacrifice this trigger with that extra land. That's the combo here. So I'm going to leave that where it is. I'm going to leave the removal where it is, and let's go try this league. I'm on the draw here with a perfectly serviceable looking hand. It only has 1 land that's actually a land outside of the wasteland, so I'm going to need Ponder to do that. Imagine if we were on the play, would have got some serious Stifle action there. I think I'm going to go fetch land pass rather than Ponder on turn 1, because having both Stifle and Spell Pierce as points of interaction on turn 1 is really powerful. It checks a lot of boxes of what could go wrong, and then that gives me 2 draw steps to find another land before I have to Ponder for land. Like, I prefer to just use my 2 draw steps, find the other land organically, and then Ponder for action spells. And I also have Light from the Loam that can get back Misty Rainforest, so I'm really not even in a hurry to find more lands, but I did anyway. So now I can use Ponder to find spells. Let's see if they're going to play around Stifle. Can't tell if they're playing around Stifle or if they just didn't have something to do with that mana. So now this gets a little awkward because this land is not blue. I could just brainstorm. I could also fetch, cast Loam, or I could just make my land drop and pass. Just hold up Abrupt Decay here. Shit. I was thinking about what I wanted to do, and I just let that resolve. Just a reflex. I have my yes and no buttons hotkeyed, but hopefully we can just Spell Pierce it to Fairy here. Yeah, my yes and no buttons are hotkeyed to my mouse, so I just, like, my thumb just went and did what it was going to do. Alright, so that's about as least bad as that could have gone. So I'm going to want Underground Sea, probably. Or is it... No, probably Tropical Island. Yeah, I have a Black Saurus. Yeah, and the only black spell is Liliana, but I have blues in Force of Negation and Force of Will and Uro and Jace, so I'll get blue mana. That's not the correct mana. Okay, so get to shred this thing. We can bet they have Force of Will in their hand. You don't run out a Naked Mentor like that if you don't have Force. Alright, now I want to Brainstorm, I think. It's either Brainstorm or Loam. So if I Brainstorm, like, Fatal Push probably isn't great in this matchup. Though, if I Loam, I can have Loam ready and still cast Ponder. Oh, maybe I play Wasteland, cast Loam, so I can Spell Pierce a Force of Negation. Yeah, and then I can Ponder if this doesn't go right. And the Ponder can even dredge the Loam if I want to. Alright, so that went well. I would rather hold up blue here than Ponder up my Loam. Alright, so there's another fetch land. Is this another Mentor? Oh, back to basics. Well, I could lose here. It was pretty clever baiting the answer with Back to Basics, or with Mentor, because Back to Basics is actually more devastating. They are on 2 cards in hand, and I did just regrow a land, though. So I'm going to take an actual draw here. So I can fetch Basic Island and then dig for a Basic Forest. Basic Island. Ponder. Okay, so these are not Basic Forests, but they do cast Loam once, which can get the Basic Forest. So do I want to take that route? I think it's probably fine. Definitely don't want to dredge. Okay, so my top 2 cards are both Tropical Islands, so I'll get 2 cracks at Life from the Loam. It's just how bad of a thing they do to me in the meantime. And I'm going to cast the one from hand because I don't want to dredge the one in the graveyard and lose my second trop. Okay, so I'm going to dredge Loam this turn because I don't want to draw that Underground Sea. Now I'm looking for Abrupt Decay. A little Snap Ponder action here. That was clearly the draw for the turn, or they would have done it last turn. Their hand, I suspect, is like Swords to Plowshares and Force or something. There's reactive spells over there for sure. From this position, though, the game becomes like Abrupt Decay or Bust. Like I can even Brainstorm and fetch my basic. So maybe I do want to draw the Black Source, actually. Yeah, so I'll take that Underground Sea, and then I can decide what I want to do with it after this Brainstorm. Oh, resolving Brainstorm with Loam. Alright, found Basic Swamp, easy money. So I'm going to leave this fetch land sitting where it is, because I may need to turn on Fatal Push next turn. And I suppose there is like possibility of something messed up happening where, oh god, like that, where my hand is 2 Brainstorms right now, and Narset is a complete fucking problem. But if I fetch something that can cast Brainstorm right now, then I lose my green source that I work so hard for. What is more important here? I think I have to cast Brainstorm, because my hand just does not do anything otherwise. So I want to leave... there's 2 green sources left in the deck. Alright, so I'm going to cast Brainstorm in response off a black source, because I have black covered. I want to leave as many green sources in my deck as I can. Okay, we found Force of Will. I'll take that. So I'm going to put Loam and Stifle on top as cards that I want to dredge away with Loam. That's going to be my shuffle. Or I can pitch the Stifle, actually. So maybe I'll put Loam and Fatal Push on top. Then Force Pitching Stifle. Because this hand is going nowhere quick if Narset's in play. Like, I got a cantrip to find my green sources. I gotta find an Abrupt Decay, and if I can only draw 1 card a turn, that's just not going to happen. Alright, so now that they saw Stifle, they're just fetching around that. I'm going to dredge Loam because I know I don't want the top cards in my deck. Then Ponder for a green source. Didn't find a green source, but I did find Abrupt Decay. Okay, this is a work in progress. I'm not going to shuffle this. I'm not going to dredge. I'm going to play my basic swamp. Next turn, I can ponder looking for green source, and then I can get free of this back to basics. Teferi is fine, I guess. Hey, not that I can do anything about it. I probably would have bounced my Snapcaster with Teferi there. After combat, of course. But it's up to you. I do want to draw this ponder. Right, let's find a green source. Right, that's not it. Shuffle, don't dredge. Alright, I'll hit my land drop. Even if it's not a great one. So now we're actually looking at something pretty interesting, because I said on turn 4 how cool it was that they baited with Mentor to stick back to basics. But if they had baited with back to basics, I would have died to Mentor by now. Though, never mind, scratch that entire thing. Like, all of my perception is skewed by the fact that we bid under back to basics, so that's probably just not even accurate. So, cards that scare me right now include Hull Breacher, but I gotta keep pushing. Don't dredge, don't dredge, don't dredge. Come on now. Alright, so put back Uro, I can dredge that, and Wasteland can also get dredged. Aha! Raven's Crime. Sucker. Hope you didn't want those cards. Alright, so Terminus in the graveyard. That's something that Stifle can hit in future games. Just keep Stifle targets in mind. Alright, the Snapcaster is going to town. I'm going to dredge Loam because I want to clear the top of my deck. The third card down was the clutch that I was looking for. I'm going to crime them again, discarding this Underground Sea. Like, I have blue and black mana already. Yeah, we're running out of time here. I'm out of cantrips. This Teferi is a problem regardless. They might even have a second back to basics lined up at this point. Gotta be honest, Teferi on 8 doesn't do a whole lot. Like, I would have bounced that Snapcaster a while ago. But I'm also just bleeding out to it, so what do I know? More green cards. Yeah, so I could have removed back to basics a long time ago if I let Narset resolve, but I don't think I'm winning that game either. Though maybe I'm supposed to let Narset resolve and just settle into a dredge game with Loam, where I can still, like, quote-unquote draw extra cards with Loam. Okay. We're now officially too late, because if I spend a turn decaying Snapcaster, then I lose to back to basics. If I spend the turn decaying back to basics, then I'm at 2 from Snapcaster. So we were just straight up bricked here. Alright, I'm dead. I've been on the blue-white back to basics side of this matchup so many times. Alright, so Force of Vigor, something I want. Veil of Summer. So Leovold, Assassin's Trophy. Is Veil something I want? Probably not. Like, it's basically just Red Elemental Blast, but only to counter spells. Like, there's not really defensive Veils in this matchup. Like, Red Blast could, like, pick off Narset or Teferi, but Veil just doesn't. So I need my Golgari spells to do that. I just need answers to back to basics. Liliana the Last Hope can win matchups like this by herself, so I do like that. What is less good here? I feel like I'm going to be shaving Growth Spiral a lot in these matchups, or in this league, just because it's not a card that I am super in love with as a legacy card. Though I feel like if it's appropriate for a matchup, it's probably one like this that's super slow and you want to jump ahead of a bit. So what does Flusterstorm help me with in this matchup? Is the answer anything? Like, I have one Plague Engineer in the deck already. That naming Monk is very strong. That cuts off one of their big win cons. But it's also not very good if they're not monking. And we know that we have to play around Terminus and all the other miracle shit. So I don't know if I love that. I might like Flusterstorm. Might be better. I think it's probably better than Force of Negation. Or shave like one of each here. Or Force of Will can protect my proactive powerful spells, but Force of Negation, that's just more outs to back to basics. This is actually really tough. Maybe I have to go skinnier on Uros to expect Graveyard Hate. Skinnier on Uro. Do I go skinnier on Loam too? And just max out defensive answers. Alright, I'm going to try this. And on the play. Look at all these basic lands. Keep. Yeah, honestly, if we could just have found our basic island, or basic forest that one turn, would have been fine. I cannot keep this. Stifle is the only castable spell here. They don't really have targets for Wasteland. So I'm going to shuffle this. Alright, so the shields are up. If I find a black source, I'll feel pretty good about this game. And hopefully they'll play around Stifle, even if they don't have to. Alright, I'm not worried yet, but the doubt is creeping into the back of my mind. Though this game is going to go a long time, so I don't really need to do... Like, if missing a land drop here isn't like missing a land drop against Delver, where it's a huge problem. It just sucks. But any cantrip is great. A land off the top is great, specifically Black Source. Like, if I could get Underground Sea right now, I'd be pretty happy. That would just cast all my shit. Underground Sea. Shit. Alright. Well, now I actually do have Stifle, which is fun. So I can stifle this fetch land. I'm going to keep my hands off of my mouse and make them make the first moves. Alright, let's get them. So at least demand some sort of interaction on their turn. If they have a Flusterstorm, it's going to counter this, but better this than something later. And this is not what I'm here to use my forces on. Also, if I had hit my land drop, that Spell Pierce would have been dead. So already getting punished. Let's see if they're going for like Rest in Peace here. Alright, nope, they're just cracking their fetches. Black Source. Alright, not a Black Source, but now I can hardcast Force of Negation. So I have 2 layers of protection that don't involve pitching 4 cards from my hand. I really want this Leovold in play, though. And I'm not fighting over cantrips. That's not how you win these long games. You have to fight over their payoffs. Like, I could counter this Brainstorm and maybe it would mess them up for a little while, but like, look how messed up I am too. We'd both be digging out. Just save this for the Teferi, save it for the Narset, whatever. I will not counter a Rest in Peace if they have one of those, because I have these 2 Abrupt Decays ready to deal with that. I even added a Black Source to this deck. You all saw me do it. Alright, so they're gonna like snap Brainstorm in the end step here. Yeah, that's fine. This is not something I'm gonna fight over. Your life total is a resource, even though it's becoming a more and more dubious one as the time goes on. But Leovold just bricks Snapcaster by himself. Just 3-3 is bigger than 2-1. Magic the Gathering. So they've cast 3 cantrips and a Spell Pierce this game. None of those are effective against Leovold. So if we can imagine an alternate universe where I cast my spells. Now with 5 mana, Spell Pierce gets a whole lot worse. Oh, this one doesn't get Spell Pierced anyway. So I'm gonna force pitching Spell Pierce. Wish I could let that resolve with my Abrupt Decays, but as we discussed, that's not a thing. Alright, that was good. Let's find a black source. Alright, found a black source and a backup Leo. Alright, so I'm gonna jam Leo, and if this one gets countered, that's fine. And I still have... I have the Force for a Back to Basics, and... Well, I did tap out of my black sources, so no promises that I'll be able to decay one of those if it hits the stat, or if it hits the board, if they win the counter war. There it is. So Force of Negation. Let's see if they fight back. If they do, it's 1 less card in their hand. But I do have some stuff I have to draw through here. Alright, there it is. Leo holding the ground against Snapcaster Mage, like you read about. I'm just going to bash. If they flash in a second, like Ambush Viper, Snapcaster Mage, and double block, I can decay, or I can just cast my second Leo, and they're down a card for it. So I'm fine with that. Oh, they're making a move. They're getting the second white source. Is it time for Supreme Verdict? What's going on here? Maybe they're just playing around Stifle. Though this certainly feels like some sort of Wrath effect. Splat. Yep. Backup Leo. So I had to tap out of my black source again. So hope they don't follow this up with Back to Basics. But I'm now drawing wild again. I feel like we're pretty far behind, despite what the board may indicate. Like those 6 cards in hand, yeah, there's Back to Basics, whatever. Alright, just need a black source. Famous last words, right? I said black source, and my deck gave me a black card, which is not quite what I wanted. It's half of what I asked for. But if their hand is just full of cantrips and soft counters, then this Leo could really jack them up. And if they Swords to Plowshares, then I get... Uh-oh, is this Mentor? So I actually have Mentor covered 4 times in my hand. I just need black mana to do it. Okay, Teferi bouncing Leovold lets me draw a card. So I'll take that at least. Though I can't redeploy him immediately because of the Back to Basics. Yes, draw me a card. Alright, Basic Swamp is operational. Shit, come on. Alright, that's fine. Not a huge deal, because I found the Basic Swamp out of it. Leo did his job. They see the Basic Swamps, they see the handful of removal. They know what they have to deal with now. That was an interesting play, though. I guess Surgical does make perfect sense against the Uro deck, and also I guess that Surgical hitting Leovold, even if it did actually get a card out of my hand here instead of being the normal card negative type of Surgical. That's one less Surgical they have for Uro later. So I'll take that. Not that I have a choice. I am required to take it. Oh, nice. I even get to brainstorm here. Do I want to brainstorm here, I guess is the question. Like, my hand's pretty solid. I would like to find... No, I'm not going to brainstorm here because my hand's already just full of ways to not lose the game. I'm going to need to find a way to win the game, but I would like to cast that card the same turn I find it. So unlocking my mana is going to be pretty important. And also scrambling up my hand, one, because they just saw it was Surgical, so them not knowing exactly what they're working with anymore will be pretty important. Like, I'm not really scared of Mentor here. I'm kind of scared of Jace here, but I do have Assassin's Trophy. Alright, so there's Mentor. See how many cantrips they want to cast. Snapcaster, Ponder, a Snap Surgical. Oh no! This is my nightmare. Okay. That's actually pretty bad. They can strip my Abrupt Decays now. And that's also going to get another one out of the hand. Wow. Just having 2-pair has crushed me this game. Normally 2-pair isn't the worst hand. And I can't even brainstorm in response because of Teferi. So if they have a Force of Will for my Plague Engineer, I could be in some trouble. So maybe I want to lead on Assassin's Trophy and then follow up if it doesn't resolve with Plague Engineer. Mentor is a human, but it makes just bunks. So unfortunately, I can't get the tokens and the Snapcaster with Plague Engineer. They're also at 6 life over there, so I don't need to do a whole lot to win this game. But Monastery Mentor is quite a wall to fight through. And they just did their Snap Surgical, so Uro is back in action. Hello! So I suspect that they will just take their basic land if I go for Assassin's Trophy. So I'm going to lead with that. But it's also the one that both, if they counter it and get an extra monk, I can clean up the monk easily. But if they like force Plague Engineer and then I follow up with a Assassin's Trophy, then they have a whole extra monk to work with. Alright, so every Uro trigger buys me a turn against this board. And now they're going to have to have another Surgical or more Graveyard Hate to stop this Uro. Though Teferi will be on 3. So hopefully Uro can just overpower. Oh, JK. Uro is not going to beat Jace. Now they have multiple bounces. Alright, yeah. They've... feel like they are pulling ahead pretty massively. Like, they were already ahead. They've been ahead most of the game, but they're pulling ahead pretty massively here. Having built a lot of these decks myself on the other side of the board, like, this is exactly my shit. This... oh, also Gideon, cool. This sort of deck is built to beat my sort of deck, and it's a shame we ran into it in the queue so early, but I'm also, like, not sad necessarily that blue-white main deck back to basics is a thing you can do again, because I love it. Okay, so I can go blue, blue, green, green, and make Uro. Is there any reason to brainstorm first? I don't think so. All right, here comes Uro. Do they also have Force of Will, or are they going to just manage it on board? I honestly think forcing this would be kind of insane. Like, that doesn't make any sense. You have it covered so many different ways on board. All right, so now I can brainstorm and try to find another green land. All right, all these forces are not helping me. I don't think Teferi is going to leave play, like, ever. All right, so I can jam Sylvan Library here. All right, that's going to be a little late. Like, they bounce Uro with Jace, attack for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If they string together cantrips, they might actually be able to kill me outright this turn. Okay, that's not going to kill me outright, but does answer Uro pretty permanently. But he wasn't coming back this turn anyway. I only have 4 cards in my graveyard. But the fact that they get to activate all 3 planeswalkers without having to bounce the Uro is a huge punish. We are not winning this game. I don't even think there is an out. Like, there's not a single card. Like, I don't think I can beat Gideon or Jace or Teferi in this spot, and they have all 3. Yeah, we just couldn't get ahead in the early window. I'll take a look with Sylvan Library, but I'm not optimistic. Yeah, that's not going to do it. All right. We got beat by a deck that was built to beat decks like ours, and that's fine. That's magic. We're supposed to grind into the late game with this deck, and main deck back to basics, huge blowout. Just like the planeswalkers and the removal are going to line up really well against Uro kind of shenanigans. So yeah, that was rough. But shake it off next round. I'm on the draw in round 2. My opponent had kind words about how they watch my channel, and I got to do the "yeah, you're on it" thing. I don't think they're going to blind name Force of Negation. Yeah, blind naming Brainstorm is a reasonable thing to do, though. So, drawing that Spell Pierce off the top there was pretty nice. Because they didn't see that, and if they have some sort of plan for flashing back Cabal Therapy. If they are Nick Fit, though, Umezawa's Jete. Do I want to Spell Pierce that, or do I want to save this for something else? I have a feeling that they're going to be Dead Guy Al. What spells are in Dead Guy Al that I care about? Do they have Lilianas? I don't know. That might have been a huge mistake to let that resolve. We'll find out soon. So drawing the land means I don't need Loam to hit my 3rd land drop, and I think leaving up Spell Pierce is going to remain a good idea, even though I suspect the creatures they're going to cast from now on are, or the spells they cast are creatures. Ooh, no land, chip it. Interesting. Okay, so I could spend a turn Loaming, and then I can cast Leovold with Spell Pierce back up next turn. I think I'm into that. And I'm going to fetch Basic Forest. I'm going to start insulating myself against Wasteland, because if I have Loam and Basic Forest, then I'll always be able to pull out of a Wasteland. But if I get like Tropical Island and they pick off the green source, though I guess I already cashed in on a 2nd green source, so maybe that doesn't matter as much as I think it does. Do I dredge? I don't think so. Not yet. Blue, black, green. Alright, so show me the Swords to Plowshares. Let me draw an extra card. They know I can't force a negation right now, just like we drew it up. And I'm going to get Basic Island here. Probably don't need to get basics. I guess I should draw my card first. Do I want to dredge loam? No, I don't think so. Should have dredged loam. So I declined to dredge loam twice and drew lands both times. Maybe I'm just supposed to be turbo loaming now, try to find Uro and make it happen. But I would really like a brainstorm to fix this hand before I mess with any of that kind of stuff. Alright, Ponder checks the boxes. Abrupt Decay, Force of Will, drop. No, I don't want any of that. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna shuffle. Maybe I should have kept Abrupt Decay. And then dredged away the other two with loam. But now I can hardcast 2 Force of Negations. If they find a third land and it's not basic, I can Schwaste it, and they're under the Schwaste locked forever. Oh god, this is Esper Vile, or Esper something. Oh, they were not just missing a land, they were missing a whole ass color. Alright, good to know. I'm still chasing Brainstorm here. Like, loam, okay. Finally rewarded for not dredging. Right, I have 2 answers now, and I'm ahead on board. I'm gonna start dredging. Which I guess means I should fetch first. Yeah, I need to get blue, blue. I have blue, blue, green, green, but alright. Let's just make sure we're super solid here. Looking for Uro. I dredged a million lands. There are still lands to fetch in the deck, so I will keep playing lands out. At some point I want to start holding lands because Raven's Crime is a card in my deck. I guess also at some point I'll run out of fetchable lands, and then it becomes more likely that I want to. Alright, cool. So I'll take my draw here. Don't think I want to dredge. God, it's so hard. Damn it. Did I know that was there? I don't think so. Alright, so I gotta be about out of lands here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Alright, I have to draw this time. Alright, they finally answered. Leo. Yeah, I was just hoping to find an answer there to their plow, but it didn't come. Alright, there's a couple lands left in the deck. Now I'm gonna dredge my face off because I'm no longer on board, so Uro is my way to get back. Alright, I found several Uros. That's how you do it. Green, blue, green, blue. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll put in Wasteland. And I think I wanna... Do I cast Loam? No, because then I can't Abrupt Decay. Yeah. I'm not holding on to anything here with Loam. But I don't think I'm going to put any more lands into play with Uro's triggers. Because I would like to find Raven's Crime. Alright. That was an unfortunate game for them, but we did our thing. Okay, so we saw Umazawa's Jite, Teferi. Alright, so this is Esper Stoneblade, not Esper Vile. I said Esper Vile earlier because Stoneblade's been dead for so long, but this is Esper Stoneblade. Force of Vigor, Assassin's Trophy, Theovold. Torpor Orb turns off Snapcaster Mage and Stoneforge Mystic, and turns off Uro. So you don't get to draw a card when you cast the front half, but you also don't have to sack it. So that's pretty juicy. Plague Engineer. I don't think that's something I want. Collector Oof plays. Veil of Summer's probably good. We saw Plow. They probably have some like Inquisition of Kozilek kind of stuff going on. I'm gonna wait to see more out of them before I bring in the Veils though. So Plague Engineer seems solid. Force of Negation, even though I found targets that game for both of them, is actually like pretty medium. Against Stoneblade, because they can win without casting a non-creature spell. Do I want to start shaving Force of Wills as well and just play to the board? They did show me Teferi, which makes you want more forces if you want to answer it in coming down, but makes you want less forces if you're planning to answer it once it's there. So, sorry, Growth Spiral. Knowing when to shave an Uro is going to be so tough. Like, it's just every deck's going to have something, whether it's Surgical Extraction or whatever. So I'm going to shave an Uro and a Loam again, and I actually want Liliana the Last Hope, because I think that like she is a juke permanent that can win the game on her own. Like Liliana of the Veil can effectively take someone out of the game, but not literally. Jace and Liliana the Last Hope can actually win the game on their own. Fatal Push, Raven's Crime, Stifle, Spell Pierce. Yeah, I like all that stuff. I'm excited for Torpor Orb. Torpor Orb also helps you play around Graveyard Hate by just putting Uro into play. This hand's pretty close to keepable, but like if this was an island or a dual land, I would keep it, but you can't keep this on basic forest. This hand's even worse. Okay, I'll keep this one. So I think Liliana's got to go, and maybe Trophy, but those are my two answers to things. Maybe Uro's just got to go. Is that a sin? Are you allowed to ship Uro in the Uro deck? I think I kind of have to. So Uro is gone, and because like Loam can find Uro theoretically. I mean, Liliana is going to be pretty hard to cast. Yeah, that sucks, but that's mulligans for you. That would have been a great 7-card hand. We're probably going to get hit with a discard spell anyway. Ball Therapy me. Yep, no chance. 0% on this one. Yep. Anyone who names Life from the Lomer Assassin's Trophy just in the blind is a complete maniac. Like, literally psychic. Can't even accuse them of ghosting because I'm recording alone. I'm not live. Oh, there it is. They're just going for it. What's the hit? B-Skull. Alright, I do have Trophy for Batterskull. So I think that I have to fetch a it's either Bayou or Trop. I think I get Bayou here. And then Loam. Yeah, I'll get Bayou and cast Loam. This is the sure way to cast Assassin's Trophy next turn. Like I had to get green or black with that land and then Loam back the Misty to get the other one. Do I dredge? So this Uro is a big part of my plan. Yeah, I'll dredge. Oh my god. I hit Raven's Crime. That's not a bad one. It's actually pretty good. So Spell Pierce is a phenomenal pickup because now I can trophy and pierce their Force of Will. Was there a juke? Do they have a different weapon? No, they still have that one. So I'm just going to trophy Batterskull immediately. I'll get Tropical Island. I don't think I have the luxury of playing around Wasteland right now. Well, I have Loam, so I'm always playing around Wasteland. Alright, so then you cast Force. I Spell Pierce it. Oh no, you just take it? Fine. Alright, so how about this? You untap and cast Gideon, and I Spell Pierce that. Just let me Spell Pierce something. Please. I need this to work. Wish I had a Stifle for that. But there's half my Stifles right there. Alright, opponent. Come on. Put Gideon on the stack. Jace the Mind Sculptor on the stack. The only card they know in my hand is the Loam. I think they may have seen Wasteland too. Alright, so they're going to need Force of Will so they can resolve their Jace, but I have that covered. Yeah, they named Force of Will. They are trying to resolve a 4-drop this turn, and the Spell Pierce is going to check that. Unless it's some, like, creature. I don't know what creature would be great here, though. Okay, so now they can resolve, like, Teferi. Alright, that creature works. And they know if they just hit their land drops a little bit, they can get out of the Spell Pierce range. But I'm going to pummel them with Raven's Crime this turn. Sophie. Jitte. Okay, do I Spell Pierce Jitte? I think so. Yeah, they're going to be like playing around Spell Pierce for the rest of the game anyway. So how do I do this? Okay, drawing a black source was very important here. So now I can fetch for a black source. I'm going to crime them twice. So I have blue, blue, green. I have green. Okay, so Underground Sea does do the job here. So then I'm going to loan back these 2 lands with my non-black sources. And I'm going to crime them twice. So they can decide if they want to keep that Jace the Mind Sculptor or if they want to keep that Sword of Fire and Ice. So either way, it's scary, yeah. 1 mana short of completely shredding them. So they're going to stick the Jace or whatever their fucked up permanent is here, because we know that whatever's in their hand is better than Sword of Fire and Ice. And it's an empty board. Like, Sword of Fire and Ice is among the best cards. Oh god. You're a Curses deck? You betrayed me. Oh no. Okay, so I have to draw my other Assassin's Trophy, like, right now. This is not a dredge turn. Unless I dredge trying to hit a second Uro and try to get Uro into play immediately. But then I can't get Assassin's Trophy. Yeah, I have to play to my outs. So I can crime you and play Leovold, but once you get the curse of what the fuck is that card called? Overwhelming Splendor. Yeah, that's not one I can beat reasonably. Okay, so I think I have to get at least the front half of Uro happening here. And then Should I crime them? Does that even matter now? Or is having more mana available the only thing that matters? I'll crime them again. This is just whatever random card they drew. Oh, Academy Rector is pretty strong. Alright, so they are a Rector Curses sort of deck. Interesting. Alright, so Overwhelming Splendor. I can beat that with Assassin's Trophy. But that's all I got. So I think I want to Dredge Loam here. And then I'll have a bunch of lands I can hit with Brainstorm. Oh, what did you draw? Come on, you're in top deck mode. Stop it. The fuck is this? When Armored Sky Hunter attacks, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may put an aura or equipment from them onto the battlefield. If an equipment is put onto the battlefield this way, you may attach it to a creature you control. Put the rest of those cards on the bottom of your library in a random order. Okay, so the combo with this is that curses are auras. Alright, so get back Loam. And then Dredge Loam. Or then cast Loam. Green, blue. Then Brainstorm looking for Assassin's Trophy. Abrupt Decay, not quite what I'm looking for. I'll put these two back. I can't activate fetch lands. That's true. Whoops. Alright, so I'm going to Dredge Loam again next turn. They probably get the Curse of Death's Hold here. Or is that what that card's called? The -1/-1/1? Oh. Whenever enchanted player draws a card, they lose 2 life and you gain 2 life. Okay, I don't plan on drawing many more cards this game. Definitely got locked out here. Force of Vigor is a live draw in my deck. Extremely live draw, actually. Right, Teferi. You know, for shredding their hand with Raven's Crime, this has gone pretty well for them. This is a way better Curses deck, by the way, than the one I played on the channel. I played Mono Black Curses once, and Christ, that deck was bad. But we got the full Esper special here. I think all of their equipments are in the graveyard. Batterskull, Umezawa's Jitte. Oh no! You drew that? That's what you drew? Okay, okay. Alright, so shredding their hand with Raven's Crime, they still strung together a string of extremely relevant spells. I couldn't quite get their hand all the way empty. The curse was the most important thing. Now that I know what's going on over there, I want my counter spells back in. This is not Dead Gael. This is not Esper Stoneblade. This is some other thing entirely. We've seen Nile Spellbomb, so taking it easy on the graveyard, like the Shaving the Uro and Alome, I think is fine. They did also jam Cabal Therapy pretty aggressively. Alright, I don't think I need Torpor Orb anymore. Because they don't have Snapcaster Mage. They have Academy Rector. Scavenging Ooze can stop Rector from wrecking. Fatal Push I don't think is going to matter much. Or not with these 5 Abrupt Decay effects in the deck. Veil of Summer. Actually, yeah, the curses are auras, so I can Veil of Summer their turn where they go for the Curse of Misfortunes, and then it's just in play. I'm not going to look up that card, but I wonder... No, it would just get... I think it would just fizzle. Alright, so what else do I do here? Fatal Push is just so good against Stoneforge Mystic and so bad against everything else. Stifle does get the Rector trigger and the Stoneforge trigger. Oh, this is tough. Collector Oof, I think, is less important than I thought it was. originally. Uro's still a big deal. Sylvan Library is important. Oh, Flusterstorm doesn't do anything. Yeah, Veil of Summer is my Flusterstorm in this matchup. I think I'm happy with this. Can I get the Oof back in? Probably not. Like, I've chosen Ooze over Oof, and that's just my life. So, alright, let's go. This is fun. Just troubleshooting this insanity. Well, I don't love this, but it's also not bad. I'll keep it. Like, stifling a Stoneforge trigger early could be a big deal. Oh, I wish this hand had a cantrip in it, though. I might live to regret this. This is the kind of hand that you're, in retrospect, like, oh, damn, I fucked up. But if I even find, like, Ponder, right, this is a great hand for Uro. Alright, gotta take it slow and remember to stifle things. Play a fetch land and crack it. Alright, they have seen Stifle out of my deck, so hopefully they play weird and slow around it. Oh! Sometimes your hand just needs a brainstorm and you draw it immediately. I'll stifle the shit out of this fetch land, by the way. On the play, being up 2 lands to their 0 is a good place to be. And if they spend a turn like Cabal Therapying, I guess you can't even do that with that mana. So I've pretty clearly left up blue the whole time here. I found the fetch land. So what do I have proactively for 2 mana that I would want to brainstorm on my main phase? Nothing. All of my proactive cards cost 3, so I'm just going to fetch land pass here. Well, Scavenging Ooze. There's that one, but I'm not going to cast that just yet. Right, so they get to brainstorm. They don't get to shuffle, though. Ka-chow. Alright, hopefully that was devastating. We'll see. Alright, they just had another land. Stoneforge. I'll brainstorm in response to this. See what I need to do about it. Force of Vigor, pretty good. They have played a lot of basic lands over the course of these games, and I'm not sure if I need to worry about that or not. Like, could Back to Basics also be in this deck, this 3-color deck? And the answer is probably yes, but now that I have Force of Vigor, I'm less worried about that. So I will just tuck both of these basics. Oh wait, no, I'll tuck the Forest and a Trop, so I can fetch Basic Island and still have 2 black mana. I have a lot of green. All right, there's the Batterskull. Snow-covered island. At Loam, not a bad card to have in general. Veil of Summer and Liliana, wow, this is a banger. So, Brainstorm at the bottom, Liliana under it, Veil of Summer in my hand. Do not shuffle the library. And then cast Scavenging Ooze. Yeah, I just want to get on board a little bit now, start pressuring them. I have Batterskull covered with Force of Vigor. Not sure if that's where I really want to be, but like I would rather Force of Vigor. Alright, so I don't think they're going to name a card that's in my hand. This is a weird spread of cards. Yeah, Force of Will, nope. But Veil of Summer is a bad boy. And if they flashback therapy, I can veil it and they lose their creature. Yeah, it looks like they're going for the flashback therapy right now. Or else why would you do this in your main phase? Oh, maybe not. Well, if they don't flash it back now, I'll just eat it. Yoink. There's the queen. So Liliana can shrink Batterskull to a 2/1. Or not to a 2/1, to a 3/4, -2, -1. And then what? There's no creatures in the graveyard for me to eat. My top card is Brainstorm. Alright, I'll play Liliana and shrink the germ. It's a 2/3. I said 3/4 before. I don't know how to do math. This shit is above me. So I'll tread some water for a little while with the Batterskull. I can kill it if I need to. I have the force, but I don't really want a Pitch Loam to do that. And this gives me another turn with Liliana either way. Yeah, she's going to take some damage. That's fine. If I can just get a creature in the graveyard somehow. It's a shame there are not many creatures in these decks. So I'm drawing Brainstorm. I think I Brainstorm first, or do I Loam first? So Loaming first just basically switches, guarantees that I have a fetch land in my hand, and guarantees that I can clear the Brainstorm. I think I need to Brainstorm. Alright, Fatal Push is straight money. Found the fetch land, found Uro. So I'm going to put Uro on top of my deck where I can dredge it into my graveyard. And if that's the plan, then I don't need this Looted Delta either. I can put these two back in that order. Cast Loam. Play this. Shrink. I'll shrink Stoneforge Mystic because I'm planning on pushing Batterskull. So I guess if I shrink Batterskull and push Mystic, I can eat Mystic. But I want to kind of leave all my mana up. Yeah, remember the Germ is the creature and that costs 0. Batterskull costs 5, but it's an equipment on a 0-cost creature, so Fatal Push is a go. Yeah, they know I found an answer, or else I wouldn't have shrunk the Stoneforge. And they know about Veil still. They don't know about Uro coming up quick. So they're on Curse of Misfortunes mana, but they know I have the Veil. That one's kind of annoying. I'll Veil in response. This way they can't bounce my Scavenging Ooze. Oh cool, I can Dredge Loam right now. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, that means I can still activate my Ooze in the end step if I want to. Okay, so fetch, there should be another land I can get here. Alright, so blue, blue, green, green is active. Bayou leaves me with additional. So Teferi's on 5. The only creature in my graveyard is Uro, so I'll just keep eating their graveyard. Force of Will, the perfect draw. So, pretty sure I just want to attack Teferi. Yeah, so if I can get damage on Teferi, then bouncing Uro will kill Teferi, which I'm obviously interested in. Shrink this. Then blue, blue, green, green. Is there a way I can leave up Abrupt Decay? So blue, blue, green, green. All right, yeah, this casts Abrupt Decay still. I should leave the lands in the graveyard. Those are the only things I can recur. I don't have Snapcaster, but I do have Loam. All right, cool. I guess I could have Loamed before I Uro'd, but I'm not even sure if that matters. Yeah, if I was going to do this, I should have done it in the other order, but here it is now. And yeah, there are still fetchable green sources in my deck in case that comes up. All right, so they've carefully maneuvered their way into a curse situation, but they're going to need a discard spell because they know I have Force of Vigor. Though the Teferi is very good here. All right, that 6th land means they can therapy Force of Vigor and then stick a curse. And then I need my draw step plus Uro trigger to result in an Assassin's Trophy. Yeah, I could also have Wasteland in play right now if I sequenced my loam correctly. Though I guess, like, if I loamed first and then drew, like, Abrupt Decay off the Uro, I'd feel stupid for loaming, so it's fine. It's fine. I don't regret that play. All right, the Teferi continues to tick up. All right, I'm out of green sources. There's a basic forest still in my deck, but that's it. All right, do I want to loam trying to hit Uro or draw spells? I'm going to try to draw spells. All right, ponders a spell. And I found Uro. Perfect. Oh yeah, I do want to dredge this actually. That rules. Okay, that's sweet. I'm convinced. All right, floating white, does that matter? Probably not. So they can pick up Batterskull this turn, but they can't redeploy it right away. All right, so I'll get Uro in now. Green, blue, blue, green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, yeah. So I can eat fetch lands. That's fine. Wasteland is the only unique land in my graveyard. I have another fetch land in my hand. So I think I want to put in Wasteland. Attack Teferi. So if Stoneforge blocks, then Teferi can't bounce. All right. This Teferi is such a beating. I would feel so good about my hand if not for Teferi. And this ooze has been really questionable. Like, unless they're sitting on Academy Rector in their hand that they can't activate, then this Ooze has just been a huge brick. I guess it's been a 2/2 body, where Teferi would be on like 7 loyalty instead of 3. Alright, there's that. I am now misfortunate. So they are going to try to fight over my force that they know that I have. So I need to attack Teferi first. Can I get a creature in the graveyard? I could minus Liliana and just hope to hit some random creature. Alright, so I'll attack Teferi. Put in Underground Sea. Yeah, it sucks that they're able to just block and keep Teferi alive. Ugh. So I could go for the Force of Vigor, but they almost certainly have. Doesn't matter what they have. I'm going to target nothing with Liliana. And then I don't think there's a fetchable land left in my deck, but I'll check. Yeah, okay. Didn't think so. Just making sure. I get it back right away with Loam, so that's not a huge deal. Alright, so I have these now. Loam. So they search for a curse. I can destroy 2 curses. I just really don't want to lose this counter war, so I'm going to let them have the first curse. Fuck, I was supposed to eat Stoneforge Mystic in response to this trigger. Yeah, so now this will be a 1/1 instead of a 2/2. That's going to matter a lot, actually. Shit. I spent this whole game trying to get a creature in the graveyard, then I did, and I didn't do it. So they can hardcast Batterskull now. And if they're just sitting on Force blue card. Oh, okay. Oh, so their card in hand is Batterskull. Oh, okay, good. I'm actually fine. So I'm gonna... Do I Dredge Loam? Does that even matter? Draw and Dredge Loam. I'll destroy this curse and this curse. And hope they don't have more of them. So you attack Teferi, you attack the face. Wow, I spent a lot of time thinking in this matchup because I did not realize that I only had 4 minutes left on my clock here. How does this work? Can you search your graveyard? Search your library for a curse. Okay. I'm going to eat the Stoneforge Mystic. No, that doesn't matter. I'm just going to pass the turn. All right. Hopefully we can get over the finish line. Let's see if they play 2 Curse of Splendor in this deck. I doubt it. They might have Curse of Death's Hold yet. Cruel Reality. Player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. If they can't, they lose 5 life. Okay. Counter that. Liliana's ready to pop. So I sacrifice Scavenging Ooze. And then... Oh no, I just stifle the trigger and kill them. Stoneforge Mystic, get rid of that. No other creatures in the graveyard. Stifle. Alright, yeah, they're dead. Ooh. That was a tight battle. That was a great match. Really cool deck. I get to pop off Liliana now, which will keep Cruel Reality in check forever. I very rarely lose track of my clock, and I did. That's how hard I was thinking to navigate this game. Really awesome game. Wow, that was a great match. On to the next one. On the draw in round 3, This hand is not a keep. I'm going to mulligan it. This hand is definitely a keep. I'm going to keep it. So, what card is the worst card in this hand? I think it's Light from the Loam. Like, with only 2 lands, even if they have wastelands, then if they waste one of them, I can't loam. This is going to be a little cheesy. Hopefully I can fetch basic. Nope, didn't find a basic swamp. I have the Fatal Push here. Let's see what they do. It didn't flip. No worries. If they waste me, I'll Fatal Push. Oh, Redelver. Damn it. Alright, it's fine. Do they also have the days? Is this the perfect Delver start? I guess the question is not the only question isn't do they have the days, but do they use the days? And I think if they have it, they use it. Because this is just such a pummeling. Like, what are you playing around if you don't daze this? Okay. It resolved. Uh-oh. No, I definitely don't go into the dirt with them. Wasting somebody who already has Delver in play and they've already wasted you once is usually just a huge mistake. Oh, I don't like them pondering for more wastelands, but I don't like using Flusterstorm to counter ponder either. They did not shuffle their library. Okay, Wooded Foothills. The crazy art on that, I was like, is that Wasteland? Alright, so this might be a spot for the rarely seen end step Brainstorm. Yeah, I am actually going to do that here, because I would like to find my land drops moving up. Oh yeah, okay. This is good. So, Plague Engineer, I think, has had his chance to be relevant and missed. So I'll put back these 2. Then I'm going to draw the Wasteland. Because just having mana is the important thing here. Then I'm going to fetch. So I'm going to wait for their turn. There's a good chance that I can get 2 spells off this Flusterstorm. Like, I'll just take 3 here. Then if they cast a cantrip, I can Fatal Push in response, and if they counter the Fatal Push, I can Fluster both spells. Uh-oh, not like this. Alright, that's unfortunately going to resolve. Alright, so the opportunity to play around Wasteland is mostly past here. I hope they do Force of Will this. Alright, they didn't. Coward. So I can Uro, or I can get my Sylvan Library into play with Flusterstorm backup, and I think that's going to do more for me over the course of the game. This is a forcible spell, so I think I'm going to get a 2-for-1 off Flusterstorm here. We'll see. Force Pitching Days. Flusterino. Okay, so they get the first activation of Sylvan Library, but I bet I'm a better Sylvan Library deck than they are. Because I have Uro in hand that can gain 3 life and recoup some of this loss. But they are also able to pressure my life total. Yeah, they're just going to pay 8 at least once. They don't have to worry about Lightning Bolt, but they do have to worry about maintaining pressure. Oh, that was good. Okay, sure. Alright, so I can answer Brazen Borrower with that. So, do I Uro or do I Sylvan Library again? I'll just library again. If they found another force, I'll take my Hymn to Turok and then try to play fair from there. Force pitching Stifle. So now do I chuck Uro to get my library into play? I think I do. Sorry, big fella. Yeah, like, now I have more life than them and ways to recoup life in my deck. So they're on their second activation of library and I'm still haven't gotten my first. Tarmogoyf is a big lad. Yes, do this. Okay. How much life am I going to pay here? Because it's definitely some. I don't think I need Abrupt Decay right now. Or, wait. Yes, I do. If I pay 8 and go to 4, how bad is that for me? That's 2 lightning bolts. Actually, it's 1 lightning bolt because I'll have to... Yeah, like, leaving myself straight up dead to lightning bolt is not where I want to be. Ugh. Wow, I wish I had 1 more life point. Literally 1 more life would make this turn really easy. But that's not what I have to work with. So I think I have to put back Abrupt Decay. As much as I want to decay this library. On top. And then I'll pay for... Alright. Not super in love with any of this, but it's Fatal Push Tarmogoyf for starters. Hope I don't get stifled. Alright, so I think Bayou checks all my boxes and makes sure I don't lose to a wasteland. I don't get like taken off multiple colors to a wasteland. I'm going to name Rogue, because that covers both True Name Nemesis and Brazen Borrower. Yeah, I really need an Uro to cushion my life total now. Even if finding Loam and starting to deny them mana would be pretty insane here. Alright, they did pay 3, or they paid for 1 card. Alright, there's the bolt. Alright, that's 1 less bolt that's coming from my face. Oh, perfect. Put on top. Put on top. This is going to be brutal. Green, blue. Bang. Fuck you. And fuck you. Alright, now I've answered Brazen Borrower. In my own way. And I'm up to 10 life. So this library needs to just find a, let's see, I have green, green, and blue, blue, just a blue or green source to put Uro on the stack with. And even if they counter it, my graveyard is full of juice. Oh yeah, they're just packing up. Alright, that was a tight one. I like that. Good times. Alright, so Liliana, they have a number of X1s in their deck, like Delver starts at X1, and then Brazen Borrower, also X1. Flusterstorm is better than Forces, because you get to play some small ball. I love Plague Engineer. Just more removal, thick bodies. And Leovold is another 2-for-1. Actually, I don't think I want Liliana the Last Hope. She's kind of awkward and has to line up right, and you lose these games when your answers don't line up right. Hydroblast. I don't think they're going to have any super busto permanents that are red, and like I'm not going to counter a lightning bolt with that. Okay, so Jace is a clunker in this matchup. Force of Negation is a big clunker. Force of Will, not super great. Do I want Veil of Summer? Sorry, Growth Spiral. Once again, goodbye. I think I've made it clear, but if I were building this deck, I would just not play Growth Spiral. I just put some other card there. I mitigate the surgical, or is Uro just so good that that doesn't matter? I'll mitigate surgical a little bit. Veil of Summer. I feel like I want one of those around. So go down to 2 Force of Will and a bunch of things that play to the board. All the removal that is in my deck is in my deck. Not counting Jace's bounce and Liliana's minus. So there's some conditional or like low impact removal that's not in the deck, but all of my point and click is in the deck. Yeah, alright. This is my plan. I was worried that game. They had double Delver and a Wasteland on the play, and we still won. Nope. So on the draw, well, the problem is that, like, if this was Island or Swamp, I would keep it, but this one doesn't do anything. If I find an Island or Swamp, this hand is great. So there's 19 lands still in the deck, so a little better than 1 out of every 3 cards. And I'm going to get 2 draw steps before I am out of luck. No, I think I have to ship this. Okay. Alright, Disciplined paid off. I'm going to keep all the lands. I'm not sure if I want Plague Engineer yet, or if starting on Spell Pierce makes more sense. Do I need 2 Brainstorms? Alright, I'm going to ship Plague Engineer, actually, which may seem crazy because I just said my plan is to play to the board, and I just removed the card that plays to the board out of this option. Alright, cool. They pondered, so I'm going to snap off Wasteland. If they play Delver, I'm never wasting, but I do think that the upside of sometimes you just win when you waste their first land is worth it. And this hand with all the cantrips and 2 more land drops just plays so well. It'll catch up, it'll find more lands. I'm not worried about that. Plus we got the Uro Father waiting, ready. Alright, they're over there playing Delver Control, which is not a real deck. So I'm going to Brainstorm on their turn. I don't want to jam Sylvan Library into Daze and everything, so that's just not the play. They have their own Sylvan Library. I'll Pierce it and play around Daze. If they want this library, they're going to have to force. Oh, they could have Stifle. Wow, that would suck. Oh no, I'm getting stifled. They played that so much better than I did. Fuck. Okay, yep. Absolutely crushed. Yeah, they lined that up really well. Alright, tried to play around Daze. Got fucked instead. Brainstorm, you gotta save me here. 3 lands. Alright, found 1. Getting my own library into play, I don't think I'm gonna have time to do that. I don't think Stifle is gonna be important here. I'm gonna fetch and ponder. It exposes me to Wasteland. Like, I'm not just gonna get a forest here. I want to keep my velocity moving forward. I really want to get this Uro triggering. Make sure I have my... Ooh, that's dangerous. The Loam is great, but if they have Wasteland right now, I'm never casting it. Alright, that's a safer one. Yeah, Light from the Loam is a card that Rug Delver used to board in the mirror. Like there was a time where that was a thing because it was just so busto. Just invalidate the entire Wasteland strategy. Oh, you got your own. Oh, fuck. Relentless pummeling here. Absolutely relentless. Alright, so I'm gonna fetch Basic Forest this time. If they daze my Sylvan Library, that means that they can't Uro next turn, and I have a chance to find the green source to exile Uro. So don't have a land, please. So what are the chances of that with the Sylvan Library? Yeah, I've gotten absolutely crushed this game. Got super outplayed with the stifle situation. So I definitely deserve to lose this. They managed to sneak a stifle in on a key land while resolving the best spell in their deck. Which set me back just long enough. And I'm not dead. Like, I could still just find Abrupt Decay and a Black Source off of this library right now. So just getting through this first Uro is going to be pretty important. All right, there's the Black Source. Show me the Decay. Okay, so I don't need Stifle. I could Stifle the Uro attack trigger, but I don't think that's where this game is going. All right, so put this on top, and I'll pay for the Loam. And then guess I have to brainstorm. So I think I should. Do I fetch first? Because I don't want the Stifle. I think having 3 full looks at the Decay is going to be better. Decay. Oh, Fatal Push, I'll count that. So put back Uro or I'll put back Stifle and Uro. A Stifle and Uro. Fatal Push. I have cracked a fetch land already. Alright, cool. So they're gonna Uro again next turn, but survive the initial beatdown. And I can Veil of Summer to cantrip, just off Uro being a blue card. They're going to 6. They have 7 cards in their hand. Ugh. Alright, so here comes Uro again. I'm going to Veil of Summer, just a cantrip. If they want to spend a counterspell on a cantrip, they can. Okay, yeah, fine. That's 1 less daze in their hand when I'm operating on 3 mana, so I'm actually, like, okay with that. Though that does make the daze free, that's pretty sick, that they get to do that in response to the Uro trigger. Okay, so this Stifle is just so bad right now. Put on top. How big is this? 3, 9. I'll pay 4 to keep this. Do I brainstorm first? Or does that play into daze too smoothly? Yeah, they're definitely winning this one. I'm about to take a 9-point chunk. 10-point chunk, go to 1. Yeah, I lost. Okay. Alright. Alright, so they have Uro in their deck. I need to respect Stifle more. I don't think I want to bring in Surgical. Veil of Summer was that good? It doesn't stop Stifle, so probably not. Alright. Same deck, let's go. I don't think my deck's getting any better. I just need to play around more things and try to keep 7. Alright, I kept a hand. This hand has all 3 basics ready to go. I'm just going to fetch my island around Stifle now. Alright, no Stifle, no Wasteland. Those don't matter. I have a Stifle of my own. Please play a fetch land. Bummer. Alright, I can try to set up a Flusterstorm trick. Alright, so if they cast a cantrip... Alright, they didn't do it. Alright, now we look at each other and see who moves first. But I think my deck is better at moving second. So we'll see. Land. Land. Shit. Alright, I'll cast a Brainstorm. Okay, found another land. That's great. I don't think I really want Raven's Crime right now. And oh, this is a lot of juice here. I do want to jam Uro on the stack early and often. Though, with this handful of cantrips, I do want to hit my land drops more. Wonder how many Stifles they're going to have in their hand. Okay, so if I fetch in response, they Stifle. So I'll fetch. They're going to Stifle. I'll fetch and hope they don't have another Stifle. But they're going to play around my Stifle at least. Please don't have 2 of them. Holy shit, please don't have 2 of them. Holy shit. Oh my god! That was a complete fucking kicking. Oh my god. Learning to play around 4 Stifles again is so stupid. Like, how do I even play around that? I would have eventually had to do something. So I guess I just have to wait and just... Yeah, I mean, I have a blowout there. If they don't have 2 Stifles, then I fetch, I Stifle, or I Flusterstorm their 2 spells, I get my land, and then I Stifle their fetch also. But they had 2 Stifles, and, like, I don't know. What the fuck am I supposed to do about that? And they're just pivot straight into Uro. Wow, this is messed up. Pokemoki, are you sure PokePile's dead? Because that looks like PokePile over there. Alright, so I need... Oh my god, do you have a Red Blast also? Just completely cutting off all of my outs. Wow. This has been devastating. Holy shit. I thought we banned Rug Delver. I am honestly, like, blown away by how messed up this is. Like, I get it. I'm not like... It's not like I don't understand. I'm just like... It is incredible how fucked up these last 2 games have gone. Like, not even close to close. Just completely crushed by 2 Stifles. This looks exactly like the last game. Like, I don't think there is an out here. Alright, so I need to ponder into a black source immediately. And they could even Force of Will this pretty safely.
I don't like this pause, this long pause. I would really like to Abrupt Decay this Uro right now before it starts becoming Dreadhorde Arcanist. They're deep in the tank. Fuck. That's not helpful. Shuffle for the black source. God damn it. Alright, I'm dead. Wow. That was disgusting. Stifle. Stifle is a hell of a mad card. Wow. Alright, on to the next one. Let's not do that again. And I'm on the play with this hand. We finally have Growth Spiral. Let's see what this is all about. Opponent's on 6. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. And there's a good chance that Growth Spiral ends up getting pitched to Force of Will. Seems like a reasonable outcome for that card. This kind of looks like a lands deck. This actually looks like a historic deck. Like, obviously, Force of Will is not really a historic card, but Growth Spiral, all these lands, Fistful of Lands. Alright, we're playing against some sort of lands deck. Speaking of lands. So this would be a good time to find a Wasteland to go with this Life from the Loam. Okay, so I can Growth Spiral now, or I can wait till their turn. Also, I could save the Brainstorm and see what that produces. Alright, that's a fine thing to do. See how fast they produce Merit Lage here. Blue. Fetch. I'll get my basic forest. Green. Growth Spiral. Aha, it's like you didn't even waste me. Time Walk, baby. Okay, so I can hold up Spell Pierce. Or I can Loam. Oh, I can do both. What am I even saying? So I'm going to fetch all of... I guess I'm not fetching all of my basics. I'm getting my basic island. And then I'm going to Loam these 3 lands back. You regretting that Wasteland yet? Alright, yeah, Growth Spiral is pretty dope when you're getting Wastelanded. It's like they didn't do anything for their turn. Straight up Time Walk. Now they have a Wasteland they don't even want to use. Love it. Alright, so I'll fetch my basic swamp in the end step, and then I'm going to just get on the aggro dredge plan. If I find a Wasteland, I'm in great shape. So land, Uro, second land, Loam, get them all back. Ooh, Sylvan Library is even better. So, C and Trop. Yeah, I'm still holding Force of Will too. Yeah, I definitely this type of game, or this type of game plan lines up really well against the person who's trying to Wasteland you. Is this Turbo Uro, Growth Spiral being the extra Uro here too. This Mox Diamond doing all the heavy lifting over there. Caracas pretty strong. Okay, rotating. Are they going to Bojuka Bog me? Okay. At least my Loam wasn't in there, but I did just lose 2 Uros. And they had to pitch their Caracas to the rotation. That doesn't seem ideal. Yes. I will pay for everything. I think if I lose this game, it's going to be in 20-point hits. Alright, so now you're in trouble. I'll put back these two. Wasteland. Get out of here. I'm just going to loan back my Wasteland. And I'm holding up Stifle. So there's not a whole lot that this deck can do through a Stifle. Yeah, and I'm the Wasteland deck now. That felt good. Needed that after the complete pounding last round. Alright, Assassin Trophy is going to be great. Leovold's good in this sort of matchup, because any like Wasteland or Rishadan Port or Caracas activation gets you a card. I don't mind Collector Oof. I think that actually is pretty solid. Just turning off their Mox Diamonds at no cost to myself is pretty good. Raven's Crime I don't think is going to matter. Fatal Push is not going to matter. Stifle is strong. Flusterstorm is pretty good. I think I'd rather have all my Flusters, or yeah, I don't need this many Forces because they're not going to cast all that many spells. Force of Vigor could be something I want if they have like Choke. Scavenging Ooze does affect their graveyard in a meaningful way. Plague Engineer doesn't really matter. I'm actually leaving in Growth Spiral, folks. It's happening. Jace is good. Loam's good. Yeah, I'm bringing in all my counterplay to Graveyard Hate, plus 2 alternate win cons in Scavenging Ooze and Leovold. And Collector Roof, so 3 other ways to win the game. I think 1 Flusterstorm is still fine. Spell Pierce versus Flusterstorm. How does that end up playing out? So they have Mox Diamonds, but they're on the play, so I'm not going to be able to Spell Pierce and Mox Diamond when I'm on the draw. Life from the Loam, Crop Rotation, maybe Sylvan Scrying, Punishing Fire. All of those are better off getting Flusterstormed. Also, all of the cards I just mentioned get played out of the graveyard, so I'm going to cut Force of Will for Force of Negation here. That denies my ability to stop, or hampers my ability to stop an end step crop rotation, but the Flusterstorm should help with that. Alright, I think I'm thinking too hard. This deck looks good. Yeah, like Veil of Summer I don't think does anything. If they do turn out to be more depthy, but I don't think they are. They showed us a lot of cards that are more on the lands side of the spectrum than the depth side. Veil's good against depths, and it's not good against lands. Fatal Push. Like, if they have Reclaimers or whatever, I can bring those back in if I feel the need. But I do have basically all of the removal. Like, all of the decays and trophies and stuff are still here. So I can lead on Basic Swamp, and then play Trop Sylvan Library, and the library should help me bury. And the Assassin's Trophy is insulation against like turn 2 Merit Lage, if they do have some sort of turbo hand. Right there on 6. Alright, Exploration. So actual lands confirmed. Basic Party. Yeah, so I guess if they go Stage Depths right now, I don't have that covered. Oh, they're just naked loaming? Get naked. Oh, that's unfortunate for you. Alright, let's get a look at all this. What do you got over there? Oh, another loam in hand, Clothis. Choke. Bad News Bears. Oh, I guess I should look at this deck while I have it too. Valakut Exploration, 2 Red Blasts, 2 Clothis, Punishing Fire, just 1 Punishing Fire, interesting. Field of the Dead. Alright, so they have Choke and Clothis in hand, so I can see why they kept the hand that they did. Okay. Choke and Clothis. What does that mean for me? Yeah, I guess it all means just get Sylvan Library into play as soon as possible. So if they draw a land, they have the choice of Choke or Wasteland. Okay, so now if they waste me, it sets back all their 3-drops a turn. So it's time to find Force. Alright, I didn't find Force, but I will pay everything here. I can't get basic Forest off of this mana either. That kind of sucks. What happens if I cast a Leovold? Nothing good. So if I cast... Oh, they can't cast Clothis. They can cast Choke. So I think I actually just want to play my fetch land and pass. Because now I can Abrupt Decay the Choke, and I'm through the first round. Like, if I found basic Forest this turn, I would have jammed Leovold. Choke resolves. Unchoked. Now it's dual decks Leovold versus Clothis. Flusterstorm doesn't help, so I'll put that on top. And I don't need 2 Uros. I'm actually going to be pretty conservative about my life total now, because Clothis is coming. So green, blue, black, Leo's here. Now Wasteland isn't good for them. Or at least I get to draw a card off it. So I'll fetch my... Oh, the basic's in my hand. So they're just conceding. They're like, oh, can't beat this. I agree. We were pretty far ahead there. On to the final round, playing for the positive record. Let's get in it. I'm on the draw here with this pretty reactive hand. I'm going to keep it. It's the first appearance of Liliana of the Veil. Alright, are you elves or are you Eldrazi? Or some other shit. Elves, okay. So, basically can't win this game 1. I guess there is a main deck Plague Engineer, so I need to be digging aggressively for that. Alright, so I'm going to hold up Spell Pierce right now. I guess maybe Green Sun Zenith is a card they would cast that I could pierce right now, but I don't think they're going to Glimpse yet. They'll probably just play this Visionary and get the Best Friend squad set up. Oh, that looks horrible. Oh, this new questionable snow treatment versus I'm tilted. All right, well, I'm going to Abrupt Decay Wirewood Symbiote on my turn because I can't have them drawing 2 cards a turn. Just not going to work for me. I guess I should just do this. I considered like playing to the possibility that they bounce Visionary in the end step, but if they don't do it, I just lose so much tempo. I guess I could do it in their upkeep if they didn't do it then. Yeah, okay, they did it anyway. It's still worth it to them. All right, so drawing a black source off the top and get this Liliana in when they don't have 3 or 4 creatures in play is a huge deal to me. All right, I can Wasteland Dryad Arbor. I didn't find the black source, but that's okay. I can Uro, putting in Wasteland, which kills Dryad Arbor. And Uro. I found the black source for Liliana next turn. I can Liliana and Spell Pierce. That's pretty good. Oh god. I could just lose to Glimpse right now. Elves is so good against these mid-range decks. Okay, good. They're out of gas. Yeah, there's nothing to be done there. Okay, so I think Wasteland on Cradle is better than Liliana and Minus, because they still get the Heritage Druid. So yeah, I think I want to Ponder, looking for Fatal Push. Specifically Fatal Push, though I'll take Abrupt Decay. Leovold's interesting, but that's not helpful right now. Yes, shuffle this. So I can Brainstorm, and then I can still have one or the other. Yeah, I guess I want to do that. Ugh. None of that's what I wanted. So I still think Wasteland is the right play. I guess they have the Shepherd here, so... Oh, no, I fucked up. Yeah, Spell Pierce isn't going to help me at all, so I should just Ponder, looking for more action. Yeah, they're going to be able to do whatever they want. Shepherd's too good. Yeah, just digging for Plague Engineer, I think, is what I have to do now. Like, I have to survive this turn, and then also dig for Plague Engineer. Which are both big asks. Oh my god, if I left up Spell Pierce, I would have got them. They got super greedy and played their Glimpse before their Shepherd. Yeah, maybe leaving up Spell Pierce was right. I just assumed they would play correctly. But, no, my bad. Alright, Plague Engineer. Save me. Save me from myself. Okay, so now Shepherd is in play, and there's nothing to be done about that. I think moving this game forward with Uro. Uro has the thick booty in combat, gains life, draws cards. Okay, green, green, blue, blue. Alright, so Natural Order is looking pretty dangerous. They can also fetch Dryad Arbor here. Yeah, I'm dead to Natural Order. And the way they've played this game, they clearly don't have much else going on. Like, their Glimpse petered out, which means that they have top end in hand. So they definitely have the Natural Order, unless their hand is just both Crater Hoofs, which I don't have strong hopes for. Yeah, there's Natural Order. They tapped all their creatures to cast it, though, instead of their lands. That's interesting. Why would you do that? I guess you had to. Oh, wow. What is happening? They just Natural Ordered for Elvish Visionary. Do they think that's what this game is about? Was Hoof not good enough? Interesting. Yeah, Elvish Visionary is not particularly close to Craterhoof Behemoth alphabetically, so I don't think that was a misclick. Alright, let's find the main deck Plague Engineer. Oh, that's actually sick, because now I can zap this and counter a spell. So I think I Ponder first. That can maximize hitting 2 land drops, or like any. Or we just do that. Alright, so I will attack with my Mighty Uro. See what they want to do about this, and then the main deck Plague Engineer will shut the door. Whoops. Bang. Wow. That was a weird game. I thought I was dead 2 or 3 turns in a row, and I think they were like being clever and playing around certain things, when if they just jammed, they would have won. Oh, that was weird. Ugh, I did not care for that. Creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger, so that would be Craterhoof Behemoth and Elvish Visionary, which are both important parts of their deck. Yeah, I think I want that. Trophy is not ideal, but it doesn't suck. So Veil of Summer can answer Abrupt Decay or Thoughtseize. I don't know if that's where I want to be. I think I want to mostly keep the sideboard pretty slim here. Like, I'm already bringing in... I'm definitely bringing in 3 cards, and then I have options on the next 3. So Jace is kind of chunky. Liliana of the Veil. She just does not line up with against Elves very well. I don't think I want Raven's Crime in this matchup. Stifle's very good. I can stifle Craterhoof trigger or a fetch land or whatever. Even a draw trigger off Glimpse of Nature in a pinch. This is not a Growth Spiral matchup. Sorry. Growth Spiral had its matchup. Came and went. So the forces are less good because they have the shepherds. So I have to balance removal to clear shepherds with forces when they don't have shepherds. And it's kind of tough to do. I think that the graveyard stuff can chill a bit too. So Scavenging Ooze, Collector Oof, Veil of Summer. None of those are better than Burrow. I think it's safe to say. Do I want the other Flusterstorm? I don't think so. I don't think I want the... Or Spell Pierce can hit Choke, which Flusterstorm can't. So there is some value to Flusterstorm, or to Spell Pierce. I don't think I want Force of Vigor just for Choke. Yeah, I'll present this deck. I mean, Scavenging Ooze can be like a thick body that gains life in a mid-game, but I think that just digging for Plague Engineer is plan A, B, and C here. I'm going to keep this hand. It has no stack interaction, but this Sylvan Library, just getting to dig, and Liliana the Last Hope is second best right after Plague Engineer in this matchup. Whereas on the draw, it's much worse, and with no way to accelerate my mana. But it's still, if the board at any point resembles anything stable, then Liliana is going to be insane. Uh-oh. Okay, got there. Phew. I guess they could choke me right now. Should be less than ideal. They did take a mulligan, so did they turbo out a choke or what? What's the plan? Ooh. We're either getting straight up turn 2'd or this is a value glimpse. Alright, so if they have Cradle, they can turn 2 me. If they don't have Cradle, then okay. I can't get turn 2'd here. That was just a divination, which is still pretty good in this sort of matchup. Oh, yeah. I'm going to fetch my basic forest just in case I get choked. Actually, can I even do that, actually? I'm trying to think of like getting Liliana on board next turn. So actually, I'm just going to... Oh, Bayou is also not a... Oh, yeah. Bayou checks both of those boxes. Boom. Orb. So let's hope that actually does anything, because here it is. I mean, it stops Craterhoof from triggering. They can still attack for 5, because Craterhoof is still a 5/5 haste, even without its trigger. But I mean, they can dump their whole deck into play this turn if they have it. They have the 2 Sentinels and a Heritage Druid. Yeah, this is pretty interesting, this orb. Guess they could get the or if they have Progenitus. Yeah, that would work. Okay, they do have Progenitus. Now I actually can't beat Progenitus at all. Okay. Is there an out to Progenitus? I don't think there is. I don't have a sweeper or anything. Okay. Maybe I need more forces to respect the Progenitus. All right, Force of Will can come back in. Maybe one less Uro. It's kind of slow for the critical turns of this matchup happen a lot faster than that. So one more counterspell. Yeah, I just really don't want to get hung out on the they have Shepherd and I have counterspells thing, but this deck has so much more removal than I'm used to playing with. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 spot removal spells. Stifle on the play. Stifle doesn't do much. Yeah, I think keeping Natural Order from resolving should be a higher priority than I made it for game 2. Yeah, this looks pretty good. I'm gonna go land pass because I want to, or I have Wasteland, so I guess I don't even need to Spell Pierce a Green Sun Zenith. So yeah, I'm just gonna Ponder on turn 1. Then I can like Wasteland plus hold up Spell Pierce on turn 2 if I need to, or just do something different. And there's no reason to fetch basics. Ho, you got me. This is, I think, unless they're worried about Spell Pierce, I just don't think that's the time to cast that card. Okay, so I have green, so I can get Underground Sea here and Ponder. Just looking for one of my 3-drops that crushes. I already have removal encounters, so that's not what I want. Yeah, on the play, this is where you want to find those 3-drops. That's not it. You know, I don't really want to lead on Assassin's Trophy. Not this early. Like, Symbiote doesn't even have a friend yet. Shepherd's pretty good. So I can set up like a like a Trophy or Shepherd Spell Pierce you line next turn if they go for a quick Progenitus. Where was this last turn? Now I have to dance around this fucking Natural Order. Alright, if they get the Dryad Arbor, okay. Certainly looks like they're moving on a Natural Order. Alright, maybe not. Alright, so I can't Trophy now because they would just pick it up with Wirewood Symbiote. So if I Trophy this now, they pick it up, then I Wasteland Dryad Arbor. Let's see if they actually want the land or if they want to pick it up more. Alright, they picked it up. That's fine. Ooh. Bad news bears. Let's clip that. I want to get my Sylvan Library in. Trying to think of how I can lose next turn. So if they fetch for Dryad Arbor, alright, let me do some math before I cast any spells. They fetch for Dryad Arbor. that's one creature, or that's two creatures. They play, we know they have the Shepherd in play, so they play Shepherd, Cradle, 3, tap the Arbor for, so they can Shepherd plus Natural Order for Progenitus next turn. So I can Plague Engineer on Insect and just clear the board, leave them with nothing and pass the turn. Or I can, like, Sylvan Library would be better going long. It's like exactly Natural Order plus Cradle in their hand that would beat me here. And Engineer on Elf is obviously so much better than Insect, but naming Insect would take off. All right, I'm gonna go with the Library and just hope they don't have exactly Cradle Natural Order. Oh, they didn't fetch Dryad Arbor, so I don't think they can actually Natural Order this turn. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. They'd only end up with 3 mana. Yeah, okay, this is fine. All right, dodged. And now naming Insect isn't that embarrassing because it's going to be a 2-for-1. Okay, oh, so now I can name Elf. So put back, and I want to keep one of these. Or no, I don't have to name Elf. I can name Insect anyway. All right, yeah, so they might bounce the Elf in response to save it, but then I name Insect, and I have the Fatal Push plus Force of Negation to clear the Shepherd, and then counter their spell, so yeah, these are gone. Get your insects out of here. All right, now I gotta win the game. I'm pretty well set up not to lose it. What's the plan here? Another Visionary. They have 2 cards in their hand. Yeah, I'm not gonna play chicken with them on the Shepherd. I'm just gonna kill it. I use my mana. Plus, like, Shepherd can be pretty overpowering just on its own in play. Yikes. Top. Actively don't want both of those. So I don't think that I attack here. I think blocking is going to be way more important, and my life total being 9. God damn it. Do you have the Natural Order as well? All right, good. Let's give me a break with that. All right, so I have double black, double green, double blue. Blue, blue, green, green. I can cast Uro. Tropical Island is the land that I don't have yet. All right, there we go. All right, that's more like it. So I don't need all of this. So I'm gonna top, and then Liliana will take out Shepherd, and this game should end pretty quickly from here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, they don't have the mana to activate. All right, now my counter spells are good again. And we know they don't have Natural Order, or they would have played it last turn. All right, they've been sitting on an Abrupt Decay for a while, but Liliana, she was a 2-for-1 and a very important 2-for-1 getting Shepherd out of play. So I'm okay with all of this. All right, on top and on top. I'm not in a hurry at this point to do anything crazy. Like, just need to not lose the game. So if they have like Scavenging Ooze right now, that would mess up my Uro plan. But Leovold's still there. Yeah, go ahead, get a look at this one. They probably take Brainstorm because it's the unique card in the hand, or maybe Force of Negation because the other two are too soft. Alright. So they took the hard counter. That makes sense. It was either Force or Brainstorm, depending on what their plan is to win the game. Okay, so I don't want to go to 3, so put Leovold on top, and I'll pay 4 to keep Force of Will. Blue, green, green, blue. Tapping everything that's not an island first. Making it very clear I don't play Snapcaster Mage by exiling everything that's not a land. Alright, now I can very safely attack. Probably could have attacked last turn also. But now it's just squeaky clean. And they don't know about Force of Will. As far as they know, they stripped my only hard counter. Though, given their board state, I'm not sure what their plan would be to get through the soft counters anyway. And this library is seeing 3 fresh cards this turn, plus Uro gets to trigger. If I find the other Plague Engineer, we're just done. Alright, Loam's pretty good. On top and pay 4. Because Uro's about to regain some of that life. Can waste the Cradle. Yeah, they don't know about Leovold, so that could affect their blockers. Leo also, alright, so black, green, blue. Leo also shuts off Glimpse as an out, turns off these Visionaries, so Wirewood Symbiote isn't a good draw either. Alright. Managed to beat Elves, and main deck Plague Engineer is a big part of that. So this was a pretty sweet league. Got absolutely pummeled by Rug Delver that basically boarded into a sleeker version of our own deck. That was pretty surprising for me. That's a play pattern that we're gonna have to get used to. Just the pivot into Uro. We were pretty used to it because of Dreadhorde Arcanist and Oko anyway, but it seems like Rug Delver, just on the strength of Uro, still has that play pattern available to it. And we crushed the deck that was trying to wasteland us, the lands deck that was not even close, and lost to the back to basics main deck, blue-white control deck. Those decks should beat decks like this, honestly. I built a lot of those, and if you build it correctly, you should basically not lose to decks like this. But so we lost one actual bad matchup and one matchup that surprised me with how versatile it was, and then we won everything else. There's definitely a lot of cards. You see a lot of cards with this deck. A lot of choices to be made. I was struggling with, like, do I loam? Do I draw? how should you just be turboing to Uro? So that's something. If you have experience with that sort of deck, let me know in the comments how you would, what you think about like the dredging versus drawing aspect. I can totally see that might be a thing that I was doing suboptimally. Liliana of the Veil never came into play this entire league. I feel like that probably could get away with being something else, though. I get that she is really good with Loam. You get sort of like a Loam Pox thing going where you break the parity by having more cards than your opponent. Growth Spiral I could totally live without. Pokemoki had 2 in the original list. You saw me switch it out for a Swamp, which I have no regrets about. And I boarded this out in almost every matchup. So I get it. I see what you're trying to do, but I think this could just be some other Magic card. But overall, the deck's pretty sweet. It's customizable for your metagame. The bug colors can answer most things if you are able to plan ahead for them. So sideboard is totally optional, up to you. You can play, you know what I'm trying to say. I'm just rambling right now. You can customize this a lot more than like this is not like an optimal sideboard. This is the type of deck that will never have an optimized sideboard or optimized main deck because it's so customizable. There is not going to be a correct 75 for more than one tournament at a time with a deck like this, and I think that's pretty cool. So if you like brewing, you like drawing cards, you like making a lot of decisions over the course of a game, this could be a deck for you. So Pokemoki, thanks for the list. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.